Teen-centric.
Teen-centric.
You're listening to Teen-centric.
Teen-centric.
KPPQ, LP Ventura, 104.1 FM.
Yeah, so I'm here in the halls today with one of my writing students who we met during Poetry Out Loud, and you picked a couple poems to recite. And what I thought was cool was you picked kind of an old school poem that I hadn't seen a lot of youth pick, and it just suggested to me that you like your aesthetic, you know what I mean by that? Like the kinds of things that you appreciate, art and...
Older.
Yeah, and you're a rapper. You're down with the current culture.
Yeah.
But it showed that you just also are interested in some things that are, like you said, older.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your background, man.
I grew up in a wealthier community, but I was very poor growing up.
You're talking about Ojai.
Yeah, Ojai. It's a nice area, yeah, but not nice when you're the one poor kid.
Right.
I don't know.
Did people like remind you of that a lot?
No, I was reminded by it by just seeing everybody else around me.
Seeing all that wealth
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
Living on the run, long waits, long walks, and fun, till the sky is dark and there is no sun. Resting one eye at a time, walking straight in a crooked line. Living in a broken home, another problem, crash and burn, always moving on, survive and learn. Living by myself, a book alone on the shelf, twisted by memories of times lived comfortably. Sad but moving on, strong, 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 strong.
You talk about broken home in your poem. That's a rough situation that a lot of people have to experience. What sort of impacts did it have on you?
I don't know. My dad was a skinhead and alcoholic, smoked meth for a long time, and then he ended up leaving when I was 13. So I was going back and forth. That's why I kind of say broken home, because it just wasn't normal or right.
It wasn't stable.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. What's interesting, man, is that one of the first poems that you wrote, I'm just holding this up like it's a mic or something. There was that one that was addressing race a little bit.
Justice? You want me to recite it?
Yeah, will you do that? Thanks.
Justice. They say they want equality. I do not agree. It seems like another group of you versus me. Why not come together? No more you, no more me, just us.
Yeah, I remember looking at that and thinking, okay, that's cool. And it made me wonder about your upbringing and because obviously if you're white in this facility, you're in the minority, you know, whereas usually the people that are not white are the minorities.
Yeah.
But so you just said a second ago that your pop was a skinhead, and so you probably were introduced to some fairly extreme ideas about race.
Oh, yeah.
And yet you don't seem to have those in your heart.
Not in my heart, no.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You told me that you're going to hook up at some point with some friends of yours who are African American.
Yeah.
And then of course, most of the youth in here are Latino, Mexican, some kind of immigrant, and even when you have disagreements with people, it's not really about color.
No.
Is it?
I think even the race thing on the outs is usually just money or looking for family.
Right.
It's like a brotherhood, just like all gangs. It's like brotherhood.
They're replacing that family they didn't get.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. From the standpoint of needing support, nobody could argue with that. It's just that the gang love is conditional.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think, in a...
It's only there if you're down.
Exactly. And we know that the goal is to get that unconditional love and give that, right? What else you got for us, man?
Timing. When I was young, all I wished was to be older. Now I wish I would have worked a bit harder. Every day I wish to be free. My wish is the color of blue skies, not fenced. The sound of traffic on my way home. My wish is something I cannot grab. My wish is never here. My wish is far but coming closer. When I was young, I wished for no more fighting. Today is quiet, and I wish for more. The pain has turned me cold. I have a different kind of bold. The time for thought is coming. My cards are about to fold. When I was young, all I wished was to be older. Now I wish I would have worked a bit harder. Every day I wish to be free. My wish is the color of blue skies, not fenced. The sound of traffic on my way home. My wish is something I cannot grab. My wish is never here. My wish is far but coming closer. When I was young, I wished for no more fighting. Today is quiet, and I wish for more. The pain has turned me cold. I have a different kind of bold. The time for thought is coming. My cards are about to fold.
Where did you get your interest in words?
I don't know. I like rhyming them. I like putting them together so they sound like a flow. I don't know.
Yeah, you do some rapping. That's cool. Who are some of your favorite rappers out there?
I like drill, like Chicago rap. So King Von, Memo 600, or Memo 600. I like drill, yeah.
So that's a style out of Chicago. I think
Yeah.
I saw a program on Vice about that once. It's like
Yeah.
pretty wild.
Kicking down doors, robbing people.
Oh yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
But wasn't there some kind of death thing?
Yeah, killing people.
That sort of aesthetic, man. Like I just saw a guy in one of my programs, and same thing. He said, "Yeah, I'm into rap, robbery, violence, murder. Just straight up went to those places, And I'm like, okay." And then the other thing that we see a whole lot more and more of these days is all these superhero things, right? Powers, And I'm just wondering if all of this is really related to people feeling powerless more than before.
I don't really know if it has to do with power for me. I don't really care about power. I just want to be set up where I don't have to feel like I have nothing. Like, I guess powerless, yeah. Like, I don't want to feel powerless at all. Like, I want to have something, like, stable. I want to be able to survive, keep the people around me surviving. I don't want to be the most powerful, but I definitely don't want to be the most weak.
Yeah, I understand that. So one of the things that I find particularly disturbing is the sort of skinhead ideals, because they're so anti-humanity to me, like blocking out various races. And then like your experience, I mean, you've met a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, and you get along with people, right?
Yeah.
So if there were some kids listening who are being taught that kind of hate just based on skin color, how might you, as somebody who also got exposed to that, tell them to think differently and why it might be good to do that?
I tell them, I think very similarly, I thought very similarly, but it's a game. It's mostly older. It's prison. That's where it comes from. It's even Mexicans and blacks in prison. They don't like whites. They don't like Mexicans.
People.
Everybody
bond
hates
together.
each other.
Yeah.
And it's all about money in the end for prison, and that's why people in the house keep I don't know. You don't need. Why give yourself more problems? I mean, I grew up pretty racist. I didn't have a lot of friends. When I went to middle school, I had a few Mexican friends, and my dad beat me up for it.
How do you find out?
He picked me up from school, and I was shaking a Mexican kid's hand. One of my best friends, Joe, and we got back to the house. He was barbecuing. We were outside. He said, "Do you hang out with beaners?" I said, "Oh, do you marry one?" That fool got mad. He got mad. He picked me up, slammed me on the ground, and started throwing bangers on me. And his wife is an 1/8 Mexican, but.
Oh, 1/8? Does
Yeah.
he just deny that in his mind?
He denies it.
He does.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting that you would bring that up. And by the way, man, I appreciate your honesty, because obviously things like that aren't fun to recall. But I've always thought, like, if you just did a DNA sample of all these white supremacists, they'd all have some percent of indigenous or something somewhere. Go back far enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, really, I think that's true. So, but he don't want to hear it.
No.
Oh, well.
For him, it's trying to get as pure as you can, I guess. I think
Yeah.
that is, but.
Well, that's their belief. But, I think it's interesting because you're saying as a kid, you had a friend, man. He was like a really good friend. And it's like,
My Tibetan friend?
huh?
Norbu? Yeah. My dad didn't really trip about that much.
No?
He was always offshore he works offshore on an oil platform. So he'd be gone for 2 weeks and then back for 2 weeks and then gone for 2 weeks. And when he was back, I was always out of the house.
I see.
So he wasn't really tripping on it.
Oh, okay. Your dad was working on
Yeah.
the rigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughneck.
Oh man, I met a guy who had done some of that, and he was telling me the stories of them hanging out on the offshore.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those were some of the nastiest stories I think I've ever heard. It gets a little deranged, I think. And it sounds like a lot of them. I mean, you can never say everybody, but that's where they go to sober up for a minute, right?
No.
No?
Opposite. They stay up all night tweaking it so they can keep working.
They tweak, yeah, because I don't know if they could drink too well. He said it was like the deck was like so far off the surface of the ocean. If you fell, you'd die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't like splashing in the pool.
No.
Man. So then, how did you first? I mean, what does your dad think about you being into rap? He probably wouldn't be into that at all, right?
I don't think he knows.
He doesn't even know. Yeah.
I was on the run in Bakersfield one time with my 3 black hoodies. And one of his old friends is a skinhead. He lives out in Bakersfield. There's a lot of skinheads in Bakersfield. He was having him look for me, and my mom freaked out because she knew I was with 3 black kids. And if he would have found me, we would have all been dead.
Oh my God. So yeah, your mom, did she warn you?
She told me that. We
That's
left
good.
Bakersfield and headed to Riverside County.
Okay. That was probably a smart move. Yeah. Well, honestly though, the fact that you took a risk, the fact that you were able to transcend what you were taught, I think you deserve a lot of respect for that.
There is like a certain degree where because if I ever did go to county or prison, I would definitely run with the whites. It's not like I'm just like going to be a complete anti-skinhead or anti-that, because it is my race and I would have to fall into that line when I'm in there. So I wouldn't completely say all that, but I don't agree with it. I have black friends, I have Mexican friends, I have friends from a lot of races, and I don't judge someone's character based on their race or any of that, but
Well, when you talk about prison, you're saying you would do that for survival.
yeah.
Not because like, oh, I can't wait to hang out with those guys.
Yeah, no.
It would just be to save
Yeah.
your life. Because in a
Pretty much.
way, for them to see a white person who's not down, that's almost worse than having an enemy of color, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, that could make other people.
If I were to run with the blacks or the Mexicans, I'd be the first target.
Yeah. Well, how are you looking to break your cycle, man? I know you don't want to spend time in locked up facilities.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be homeless when I get out, or unless I can find a program to get me into. But I do struggle with drug addiction, and so that's a big problem. Like, cause any like independent living and all that, you have to turn in drug tests and stuff. And as soon as you pee dirty, you're back on the streets. So I feel like it's gonna be hard. But if I am gonna do it, I'll probably have to move out of state.
Right, or have you tried rehab a bunch of times?
Yeah, I've tried rehab like 6 times. 6 times already.
Doesn't work?
No.
I see.
You have to want it. And
Right.
deep down, I don't know. I feel I want it, yeah, but I feel like there's a certain rock bottom you have to hit, and I haven't hit my rock bottom
You
yet.
don't feel that. Well, that's very honest of you. Because you probably want it,
Yeah, I do.
but you're not.
I watch everything around me crumble down. I see it. My mom's already kicked me out. She doesn't want to have anything to do with me. My sisters are disappointed. My dad's never really wanted to have anything to do with me, but
Yeah, well, that may be some of those other things too.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I mean, if you're running in that kind of crowd, there's not a whole lot of goodness in that.
no.
You know, looking out after kids, you have to have some goodness in you.
Yeah.
I mean, you just do. Well, I look at you though, and I see somebody who, while you have the experiences that you have, you've been locked up, you've been on drugs, you probably run with the gangs a little bit. It's not all of who you are though. There's a part of you that sees the bigger world, that seems interested in other things. So like, how was school for you?
I enjoyed school. I enjoyed school a lot. I didn't always go. I'd rather get high, yeah, but I enjoy school. Especially history. I love history. My last time I was in here, I finished econ, government and history while I was in here. Finished high school when I was 17, so. But I liked it. I would go to college if I had like a stable house and a job and everything. I would go to college.
Yeah, I think college would be a good place for you, man. You ever worked with that tutor in here, George? You ever seen him? Jorge?
No.
Oh, anyway, because there's another program on the outs that's related to transitional youth, but you're saying that there would be the whole drug thing.
Yeah.
Well, what about even trying one? I mean, sometimes it's like if you believe it's going to happen again, then it for sure will.
Yeah.
But if you can try to believe,
I don't know if I'm ready yet.
you're not ready. Well, that's being honest, man. I appreciate that about you. I really do. So tell me how you discovered this, talent for writing and words and this sort of thing that you do.
I think I started doing poetry in here
Okay,
with your program.
cool.
And then when I was out, my buddy lives in a shed in the backyard, so we have the TV in there and stuff. And we'll just be playing beats and we'll just go in a circle smoking and just freestyling. It's fun.
Okay,
That's where I got into it.
that's where you got into it. And then you found you had a talent for it. Were you somebody that liked English class in schools? Did you like reading? Did you? No?
No. Didn't like that stuff. It's too like formal, I feel like they have us doing too much like writing exercises that have nothing to do with what I'm interested in. It's not really like it's not the same as just
This style of poetry where you can
yeah.
write your life.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, cool. I think there's another one in there. It's a little short one you did recently.
Stumbling blocks. Many walls, many chances, my mind flows, regret dances, time stalls, habits call, relapses.
Habits call. There's a truth to that.
Addiction.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I think we're all creatures of habit
Yeah.
to some degree. It's not even just drugs. Sometimes it's just the things you are used to, the chair you sit in all the time, the same seat at the table all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was able to quit drinking and cigarettes. Those are two pretty strong addictions.
Yeah.
It was hard. I had to cut off certain friends. Some of those people, though, who I used to do that with, I still know to this day. It's just at the time I needed to step away, But now I look back and feel like it was probably one of the smartest things I ever did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like you're somebody who, you get it. You're just saying that, like, right now you still just want to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's pretty clear that it's not even just the pull. It's like, it's kind of the way you like interact with the world.
Yeah. I still enjoy it. It's not making me, like, I do have a lot of consequences from it, but I still enjoy it, and I don't feel like it's, I don't know though, for me, I'll probably have to, it would be pretty bad when I stop. I feel like
You mean the withdrawals and stuff?
I'll have, even now I get pretty bad withdrawals, but I mean, I keep on touching the flame and it's burning me every time, but it's gonna have to burn me pretty bad before I'm gonna stop. I don't know.
I see. Does the fear of going to harder time
No. I don't.
because you've already done it?
Well, I don't know. I feel like the first time for everything is the worst, but then as you slowly, like when I first came in here, I was scared too. The sheriffs told me it was going to be a bunch of Mexicans. I was going to get my ass beat every day. But
That didn't happen.
that didn't happen.
They just did that to try to.
It scared me, but
Yeah.
I came in, as long as you're honest and you do it, I feel like anywhere if you're honest and you're not going to back down, you're going to be fine because people are going to want you because you're honest and you're not going to back down. So
Yeah.
as long as I go to county with that attitude, not stealing from people, being honest, I'll be fine. Prison, I don't know. That's a different story, but
That's probably a different story
Yeah.
indeed. Well, did we get through all of
yeah,
your?
we did.
We did. We got through them all. But you're continuing to write.
Yeah, I'll do more.
Yeah, which I really appreciate, man, because I think you have a gift for this. I really do. I hope you see. Do you see that your work is good?
Yeah,
You do. That's cool. A lot of people that I work with, they can't compliment themselves.
mm.
You know what I mean? They can't even say anything good. Like I'm at a treatment center. A lot of kids are, drugs, self-harm, all of it. They're young and they never say one nice thing about themselves. I'm like, damn, that's harsh, man. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you're able to go,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I'm gonna definitely put you in the next book.
Okay.
You know, and so we'll keep doing this work. Is there anything else like? I mean, you have a perspective, man. You're a young man who's been going through it. Is there any other things you want to say just to other people who are out there, or maybe some adults who don't understand how something like this could happen?
I don't know. I tell kids, don't do drugs.
Right.
I don't know.
Because you know.
I know. It's not even like, if I could go back and not do meth, like even like weed, I mean, I think it led me to do harder drugs. It is a gateway drug, I do believe that, but meth, that's a bad one. You'll get stuck. No matter how hard or how good you are or whatever, if you try meth, you're going to end up in a bad place.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to some adults who, like, when they look at you, all they see is the band from juvenile hall or the, oh, you just said you were a drug addict, I can't respect you. But there's so much more to you than that. How would you ask adults to try to...
I can understand where they're coming from, because I'm not, from what they've seen, I haven't been very, like, I don't know how to say it, like, I haven't been very, like, I haven't
Productive?
been productive. I haven't shown that I can do something for a certain amount of time and not flake on it.
Consistent.
I haven't shown consistency.
Right. So you feel like some of their criticisms you're even willing to accept. But still in all, you shouldn't just be judged from your mistakes, right?
No, you shouldn't, but I do understand where they're coming from. I'm not, like, when people look down on me, like, I'm offended, yeah, but I haven't proven that I'm worth their time, or I'm worth them believing what I'm saying. Even the judge right now, he's not listening to me really, because I've told him so many times that I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do this differently, and I haven't. So I understand where they're coming from. It isn't fair, but it's understandable.
I think that's a very honest view of it. And I'll still just say I'll give you props for your own willingness to not color all your views through just your emotions.
Yeah.
You're really looking at things with the logic and with the understanding of your part in it. That's mature. Thanks for talking with us today, man.
Thank you.
My guest today accepts responsibility for people who judge him harshly. As someone who hasn't been able to show himself worthy of respect yet, by not being consistent, by not being productive, but instead having a lot of trouble with drug addiction and getting locked up. So he's clearly mature for taking that stance and owning up. However, you listen to the interview and you just hear the impact that a broken home and a drug-addicted, hateful father who was absent had on him. It's just very hard to navigate the right pathway when the foundation that we have, which is our family, is so weakened and so unstable. I think that there really is potential in this young man, but the drugs have a hold over him. And as you heard from his statements, he definitely wishes he had never tried meth. I would like to read the poem that he chose when he was in Poetry Out Loud. What torture lurks within a single thought when grown too constant? And however kind, however welcome still, the weary mind aches with its presence. Dull remembrance taught, remembers on unceasingly, unsought. The old delight is with us, but to find that all recurring joy is pain refined, become a habit, and we struggle, caught. You lie upon my heart as on a nest, folded in peace, for you can never know how crushed I am with having you at rest, heavy upon my life. I love you so, you bind my freedom from its rightful quest. In mercy, lift your drooping wings and go. That poem, A Fixed Idea, written by Amy Lowell, was the one chosen by my guest when he recited for the contest Poetry Out Loud. The author of the poem died nearly 100 years ago, and I normally see students
picking poems that are a little more current.
It's interesting to look at that poem and see some of the themes that he addresses in his own addiction, pain, and memories that become like obsessions, loss.
For those of you familiar with the broadcast, you know that I teach poetry in the juvenile hall in Oxnard and at several programs that work with at-risk youth, teen center, and drug treatment facility. However, not all the teens that we interview on this show have been in trouble. We have spoken to some who are currently in college. The focus of this program for teens, I'm interested in giving young people a platform so we can hear their voices and learn from them. Everyone can recognize that it's hard being a teen right now across the board, and everybody's struggling to some level and faces hardships. I know that the material on this program is frequently filled with a lot of angst and pain and can be difficult to digest sometimes. I'd like to close the show, though, today with a poem written and recited by my guest for the next episode, and it's a really deeply moving and inspirational piece of work. Kenny Dredd put the music behind it. Enjoy.
Letter to myself. Last night, I wrote a letter to myself because no one else would. I wrote about how I brighten up a stormy day like the sun releases flowers from their underground prisons. I wrote about how my laugh can make even the coldest hearts stir in their hollow husks. I wrote about my hair, my eyes, my smile, the very elements that not only add to my beauty, but they create it. I wrote about my heart and its undeniable value, so pure and so treasured that the ones who looked at it without a care could only do so if they were blind. I wrote about myself and how everything in me is valuable, lovable, beautiful. I wrote until my heart was at peace, its contents spilled in ink across the paper. Last night, I wrote a letter to myself because no one else would. I wrote 3 simple words. I love you. It was the most beautiful letter I've ever received.
You've been listening to CENTRIC on KPPQ-LP Ventura at 104.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Craig Rosen. CENTRIC is a partnership with the Ventura County Arts Council, CAPS Radio, and the VC Probation Agency. We receive funding for this program from the California Arts Council's Jump Starts grant that provides support for arts instruction to system-engaged and at-risk youth.
You can hear CENTRIC Mondays at 11 a.m., Thursdays at 1 p.m., Fridays at 9 a.m.